Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. Roger Ver, who used to be known as Bitcoin Jesus, no one says that anymore because he basically took that title away from himself, and all Bitcoiners hate Roger Ver now. I mean, here's the funny thing. Roger Ver, you could go find his videos early on YouTube. They're still on YouTube, where he would be the biggest Bitcoin guy. And he has hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin probably. He was driving Bitcoin adoption early on, invested in a lot of early stage Bitcoin projects, right? Made a lot of money. But then the ego got to him. And then he decided that he was better than everyone else. And that's why he forked off. He forced a contentious fork known as Bitcoin Cash, which no one is talking about or using, okay? But it was a pure power play, a pure money grab. He thought he had enough pull to make the Bitcoin community to do what he wanted, and that was a wrong move. And then he just basically killed himself in terms of being this Bitcoin advocate into an enemy of Bitcoin. The simple fact that he's saying Ethereum means that he's given up on Bitcoin Cash. Finally, throughout 2018 to 2020 into 2021, all he did was try to shill Bitcoin Cash, saying it's better than Bitcoin, it's better than Bitcoin, it's not. And then he got upset because his buddy, Craig Wright, then forked off Bitcoin Cash and created Bitcoin SV. Anyway, he believes Ethereum will drive global crypto adoption. Right now, I would say that's true. Ethereum is definitely driving a ton of adoption with the ERC standards, with meme movement, with DeFi, right? NFTs. I mean, they're all on top of Ethereum, right? So it definitely is. But look at what's happening with Bitcoin right now. With BRC20, now you can do pretty much the same thing on Bitcoin. It's not optimized for it, not to say that it's good for these things, but there is still more innovations coming. Ethereum, still leading the way. Balance on exchanges continues to drop. If I had a graph of Bitcoin, it'd be the same thing. Just keeps going down and down and down and down and down, right? So Ethereum, it's a big dog just like Bitcoin. It's not going to go away. All these other chains and whatever they're doing is great, but Ethereum is it's the big daddy of smart contracts right now. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Bybit, a lot of you guys are Bybit users because they're huge derivative trading platform. They're exiting Canada. We know that Binance just recently exited Canada, citing regulatory tension. Now Bybit is leaving, probably due to their futures. I guess their leverage, I'm assuming, has something to do with it. Coinbase, however, on the other hand, applauded Canada for their regulatory rules. So it's kind of weird. So I guess the derivative ones are moving out, but the normal spot exchangers are staying. I don't know. So those of you guys that are live in Canada, your options are dwindling, but you still have Coinbase, Kraken, and Gemini, right? I don't know if any of these offer futures trading. Probably not. I don't think Kraken does. That's probably why they're around, right? So you have Bybit leaving. You have Coinbase employee that used to do insider trading, knew which coins were going to get listed, and he would buy a ton of it. He settles his charge. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. And, the other thing is, of course, Coinbase itself is still suing SEC, still waiting for some kind of response, right? That is supposed to be within a week, too. So you got a lot of stuff happening within a week. But you know what else is good? Well, Tether. I don't know. This still has me uneasy because you know who was the last project that started getting into Bitcoin, started buying Bitcoin for its reserves? Well, I don't have to name names, but I will. Terra Luna. And, unfortunately, everyone's plotting them for that. I was too at the time. I just thought, it's a brilliant move, right? Why would you not want Bitcoin to back your reserves? So, obviously, my fault. My fault at that. I got burned. A lot of people got burned. People just didn't recognize what kind of Ponzi it was at the time. But you know what? Tether is doing the same thing. Now, this story is different. Tether is starting Bitcoin mining, right? So they want to diversify right now. Basically, Tether is making money like crazy. Okay, hand over fist, basically. They have massive amount of profit. So now they're trying to diversify and get into Bitcoin as much as they can. First of all, with Bitcoin mining. And then second of all, also, well, no, that's not what it is. Second of all, they're going to start buying with their profits, buying Bitcoin and backing their reserves with it. For stable coins, it's supposed to be backed 1-for-1 for dollars. But Tether is going to do something different. They don't want to do that. They want to back it with the likes of Bitcoin, which is great in an up market. But in a down market, it's absolutely horrible because that means your reserve is actually shrinking as Bitcoin drops in price, right? So this is really risky. But it does add to a lot of buying pressure. If Tether continues to make billions per quarter and they go put a little bit of that into Bitcoin, well, that is tremendous buying pressure every single quarter. So I don't know how I feel because last Terra Luna did this, but Tether doing it. It could be good. It could be bad. Overall, I guess if you have buy pressure on Bitcoin, that's good. As long as Tether doesn't tweet out, steady lads deploying more capital, I think we'll be okay. Bitcoin, ever since it hit 69,000, obviously our peak, right? We've been in this descending channel for quite some time. Also, we dropped below a very crucial 200 weekly moving average. We have now bumped above. You could see the two squeezing Bitcoin right there. We're at the cusp. We're either going to break below the 200 weekly moving average, which looks very unlikely at this point unless disasters happens like the US defaults, or we're going to finally break above this descending channel that has formed since 2021. So over a year and a half, actually 2 years. This goes all the way back to, it started around April of 2021. So it's been 2 years. 2 years. So we're finally getting that squeeze. Now, once we do break it, what can we expect? Well, according to Stock Money Lizards, most likely going up to the halving event will be about 29% off from the top. This is what happened back in 2019 when we ferociously went up, right, from 3,000 or 3,800, no, 3,000 all the way up to 14,000, right? So we're following the same pattern. We should ferociously go up and hit somewhere around 40 to 50,000, about 29% before we get to the next halving event. Plus, we have that squeeze happening, right? So a lot of bullishness happening right now. And also, if you look at the hodl waves, it's pretty clear that we are starting a new cycle. You could see the V's, right? The peaks. Now, even though every time we get a descending peak because of diminishing returns, but you could see we barely started this new cycle. We're right at the bottom, starting upwards. It's looking pretty darn good from a macro perspective, right?